All right. Hey, we are with Dan. Here we go, right here. Dan Diaz and Hillary Romero as well. Hey. And in this episode of Ask Wholesale, we're going to talk about how to determine the right price to offer a seller.
I like that one. We're also going to cover what are some of the key questions you need to ask a seller in order to determine their motivation.
And finally, we are going to talk about how to find a good attorney and title company if you're new to investing.
Oh, that's a good one.
That's right. And finally, we're going to find out what everyone's dream car is, and you got to hear Dan's story on his dream car. So
pretty awesome.
Check out this episode.
We'll see y'all.
Welcome. We are in episode 12 of the Ask Wholesale show, where we answer your questions about wholesaling, about investing, and your real life situations and issues that you might be having out there. And we have a special guest with us, Mr. Dan Diaz.
Oh no, she's the special guest.
She's special guest. She's
just special in general.
She hasn't been on episodes since like 1 or 2. So.
I was on the first and second, and then
That's
I've
right.
been kind of MIA since then. I'm
So,
Hillary.
That's
I'm
right.
Dan.
This is Dan.
So who are you, Dan? What's your company and everything?
My name is Dan Diaz. I own a real estate investing company here in San Antonio. It's called TexasCashHomebuyer.com. If you want to connect with me personally and you live here in town, 210-998-1714. I'd love to connect with you guys.
That's a good number.
998-1714?
Yeah.
Well, I've said it enough times that
It's easy to remember. I like it.
998-1714,
Yeah,
area
yeah.
code 210. So we buy distressed properties. We're a little bit different, and this is the reason why I love connecting with people like Marco and Hillary. A lot of our offers have to do with how can the seller get more money, and we use it through seller financing. So I focus a lot on seller financing and owner financing, for foreclosures and things of that nature.
And to make a distinction, you really like to focus on acquiring the
Yes.
properties with the terms and the financing associated with it.
Yes. So that's something that I really like to do. I'm able to give, and you're able to do the same. I mean, if you learn the negotiation, I'm able to give the seller 100% of their equity if they're flexible in regards to how they receive the monthly payments. So if you are open to 180 equal monthly payments, I'll give you 100% of your equity. And I go from there.
Well, let's get into the first question because it's like the perfect question for what you were already talking about. Perfect segue here.
Oh, okay.
Awesome. So question number 1 is how do you determine the right price to offer?
I start at $1,000 and go up from there.
Well, the beautiful thing that you do is you offer terms too, which a lot of people out there they're offering cash number for the property, and then that's it. If they can't come to an agreement, then that leads dead or
Yeah.
follow up.
So I really try to focus on what the need of the seller really is. I've learned that if you talk to them, they might not need the money right away, and that's important to know. They need to solve their problem right away, whatever the problem is. If it's a vacant home, if it's an abandoned home, maybe they're getting city liens, maybe they need the grass mowed, maybe it's just a problem house. So they need relief now, but they might not necessarily need the money now. So if you kind of separate the two and you focus on what it is that they really, really need, I can start solving the problem from day one, and then I can focus on the money part. So if in fact their number one need is money now because they need to fund something else, they need a down payment, they need to pay bills and they need money now, well then yes, I'm going to focus on the price. And then at that point, I need to focus on getting enough equity to make sure that it's worth my while. And of course, you guys are wholesalers and investors. You know where you need to be in regards to that. But if we open up their minds and we realize that they might not necessarily need the money now, there is an opportunity for even you as an investor to pay full market price for a property. So the example that I always like to give is, would you as an investor ever in your right mind pay $1 million for a property that's only worth $100,000?
It depends.
Yes, it depends.
I feel like you're setting us up here, so.
It does depend.
Is that a trick question?
Yeah, he's
That
a trick
is
question.
a trick question. So the trick question is this: if you're a novice in the field, you might say, "Well, no, I can't do that. I mean, if the home is worth $100,000, I don't know. I need to pick it up at 70 or 60 or 50." And that may be true if you're going to get all your value from the equity. However, if the seller is willing to accept $100 a month until the debt's paid off, I'll pay $1 million all day. Sure, if you do the math, it's about 800 years, but I'll do the deal all day. So I think that example really exemplifies the fact that as long as a seller is willing to give you time, you can give them pretty much any price that they want. So the question is, what is the right price? And I think the answer to that is really comes down to how much time are they willing to give you, and what price allows you to make money. The deal must pay for itself. That is a rule you need to learn. You need to live by. I live by it. The deal must pay for itself. I can't come into a situation and say, well, if I buy it now and it appreciates 6% over the next 14 years, eventually I'll make some money. No, it doesn't work that way. The deal needs to pay for itself right now. So, figure out if they need money now, well then it's going to be a discounted price. You need your value from the equity. But realize that if they don't need the money now, and I think if they're honest with themselves, they might not need the money now. As a matter of fact, they might benefit from getting monthly payments and improving their life on a monthly basis. Then you can pretty much, offer, full asking price. I offer full asking price all the time.
That's awesome.
So it sounds like it's really just having a conversation with the seller, find out what their scenario or situation is, and figure out a way to come to a good middle ground that's going to be good for them and good for you, and everyone wins.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we do, like for our investments that we acquire, we generate a lot of private money with other individuals. And so we have very similar conversations with our private lenders on like how they want to get paid for them to give us the money to do our projects. So it's kind of in the same vein.
Yeah. So I don't think there's necessarily a right price. It really just depends on what the seller is hoping to accomplish. But I think you do a lot by letting the seller know that you have the ability to solve their pain and their problems today. We'll figure out the price later, and I'll figure out the money later.
Well, as a wholesaler too, the moral of the story here is you need to know your numbers and what your investor buyers are looking for as well. So some of your investor buyers might be looking for a cash deal because they want to just move it in that direction. But you might have a lot of investor buyers that you'd even realize that would love to take on a property that's not only the property but also the financing attached to it, where you can negotiate like Dan was talking about. And if you know that, then you can figure out, well, how can I structure this working backwards to figure out the right price to offer with these sellers. So that was awesome. I loved it. Let's go into the second question. The second question is, what are key questions to ask a seller to know that they are motivated?
Oh, that's a good one.
There's a lot of good questions
What do you
to
ask,
ask.
Hillary?
Well, you would ask a seller, well, again, it goes back to the conversation, like why are they interested in selling? They obviously called you, if you got a lead from somewhere, from some source or some list that this person's interested in selling. You want to find out, well, why are you interested in selling? Maybe they inherited the property and it's one that kind of just fell into their lap and they just don't have the time or money to maintain it. Maybe it's one they're about to get foreclosed on. So really just finding out, what is your motivation to sell? That would be my first question, honestly, when I ask a seller, just to find out if they're motivated. Because if they're in a really desperate state, and I mean, you can tell right off the bat if they're serious.
Yeah.
If they're just looking for some money, then they might not be as serious if they're trying to get the best price for their house. I mean, I guess all sellers are trying to get the best price, but it just depends.
That's fundamental. I mean, some key questions are, what's their price? If their price is on the high end, they're probably not very motivated. If it's on the low end, they're probably pretty motivated. How soon do they want to close?
I love that question.
Yeah, that one's going to be a good indication. If they're like, as soon as possible,
Like
well, then
tomorrow.
they're motivated.
Yeah.
If they're like, oh, well, hey,
6 months.
6 months doesn't really matter, they're maybe not so motivated. But what Hillary said is fundamental. You need to be asking any lead that you come across why they are selling, because yes, we're dealing in real estate and we're trying to acquire these properties at particular prices or with particular terms, but you're really having a conversation with a person, and there's a reason why they're selling, and you need to find out why they're selling, what is their motivation, what are they trying to get out of it, and it's not always price. If you can figure out those questions, then you can figure out what their true motivations are. Maybe they're just trying to move to a place where there's not a roof leaking, and they just want to have a safe, secure home. Well, hey,
or maybe
I'll help you find that place.
unfortunately, maybe the couple's going through a divorce and they'd rather just be done with it and move on quickly because they don't want to have the time or the money put into a realtor or pay the realtor fee. So they're just like, get it off our hands so we can, part ways and move on. Like, you just never know.
I always like to ask, why are you not listing it with a realtor?
That's a good question.
I think that gives you a lot of insight without appearing too nosy, because when most people think of selling their home, they think of a realtor, and they probably already talked to a realtor.
Yeah.
Right,
And the
because
realtor
most people who sell want top dollar, right? So they're gonna go the realtor route first, probably.
And that's the standard way of thinking. So
Yes.
if they're going outside the standard way of thinking, there's probably a reason.
Yeah, and I usually find out that it's funny because they'll spill their beans without realizing it. But when I ask them, well, why haven't you gone with a realtor?
I
they'll
really
tell
like
me,
that question.
Yeah, why haven't you gone with a realtor?
Because if you want one, here I am.
Because if you want it, there you go. I'm not a realtor. So yeah, there you go.
I could do either.
I've actually never had someone say, I don't know, that's a good idea. Usually they tell me something like, I've already talked to 3 realtors and nobody wants to list it.
Because it probably needs a lot of work.
You're like,
Well,
"I'll
I
help
already
you."
talked to 2 realtors and they told me that we don't have enough time because I'm going to get foreclosed next month. Oh. Well, I already usually, my experience has been they have already talked to realtors, and I know that, but I need for them to give me the reasons as to why the realtor said no, or why they decided not to go the realtor route. Maybe they said, I already talked to realtors, but they said it would take maybe 4, 5, 6 months, and I really don't have that time. Oh man, really? Why?
And
Why don't you have that
usually,
time?
too, if you're going with a realtor, most of the buyers looking to use a realtor for purchase are going to be getting some type of loan through a conventional bank. Maybe it's a conventional loan, I don't know, maybe it's a VA. And a lot of those loans have a lot of requirements behind it. Like if your foundation is really shot, they're going to require that foundation to get fixed. So again, it comes down to money that you have to put into the house to repair, to get it up to the standard that the loan's going to be funded. So there's a lot of different reasons, or hey, maybe you have really bad termite infestation and you have to have a termite report and it's not going to pass. I mean, there could be any number of reasons why the realtor route just won't work for you.
If you ask people, why are you going with me, they're never going to tell you. But if you go the opposite route and say, well, why didn't you go with the realtor? That's what people know. People know realtors. The realtor industry spends millions and maybe billions of dollars advertising themselves. So when you find out why they didn't go or why they're not going with a realtor, you're going to find out a lot about their level of motivation.
And that's true. Most people know realtors. Most people don't really
Yes.
know or understand wholesaling or what a wholesaler does.
Realtors do a really good job of promoting the industry and themselves. So they know
Exactly.
realtors.
That was a powerful question. I love that you did that. You just dropped some like a golden nugget right
He dropped
there.
this mic,
Oh yeah?
but I'm holding it.
Boom.
It was this little baby one.
There you go. I like your all sound effects. Nicely done. Nicely done. All right, so we're going to question number 3. And question number 3 was from Mario. And he asked, where are you located? Because I guess he was in a different town. But he was saying that he's looking for an attorney or a title agency. So the question is, how would you go about finding an attorney, a real estate attorney, or a title company to use for your business?
Well, we're in San Antonio, for those of you who don't know. But really, if you're just coming into the industry and you don't really know who to go to or who to use, I would, basic online searches. If you don't know anybody, I'd go to online search, do like Yelp, do Google, find attorneys, find title companies. But a really great way to find a reputable one is talking to people other investors, other realtors, other wholesalers, anybody that's in this industry that's constantly using attorneys for document writing or document prep for deed of trust or promissory notes, or if you're looking for a title company to, do anything that a title company does, I would definitely ask for referrals from other people, because we constantly are in communication with our title company. We pretty much have the one go-to person, unless title was open through somebody else. We always use the same people. And we also use the same attorneys. So generally, if you know somebody out there in the industry who is constantly immersed in this business, who's working with these companies all the time, I would definitely get some referrals and then call out and interview these different people and find out who works best for you.
Go to your local real estate investment meetup.
Yeah,
Or
that's a
mastermind.
good,
Or
or
mastermind.
or networking event.
Yeah.
By the way, if you're an experienced wholesaler or investor here in San Antonio, reach out to me. I'm the president of the San Antonio Real Estate Investors Mastermind. It's a small, limited seating, limited participation. Thank you for letting me do a plug.
There you go.
You need to be experienced, you need to be active, you need to be doing this full time. But it's a great source. But if you're just looking for a title agency or a local attorney, you need to interview them. Not every title agency is familiar with investor-friendly transactions.
Exactly.
You do need to interview them. You need to ask them, do you do double closings? Do you do assignments? Do you do wholesale transactions? Do you do sub-twos? Do you do wraps? Sometimes you'll get a yes to all the above. Sometimes you'll get a no to all the above. And sometimes you'll get a basket mix of yes, no, and I don't know what that is. So stay away from those. They say I don't know what that is.
Yeah, I mean, they both gave some great answers. A technique that you can use is going to some Facebook groups that are focused in the realm of investing or even wholesaling, and just put a post out there, hey, looking for a title company or a real estate attorney for this area, and you'll get a lot of feedback there. If you're connected with a lot of real estate people, obviously ask them, but when you ask them for a referral, make sure to explain to them properly the type of person you're looking for. Not just, hey, who's a great title company or escrow agent. Say, who's a great escrow agent that can do investment deals or that knows how to do double closes, wraps, or whatever you're trying to focus on to kind of qualify the referral that you're going to receive. By going to these local real estate events, obviously you can ask referrals to people you meet there, but let's say you find a good title company. Well, then ask that title company who they would refer as a real estate attorney, or vice versa. If you find a good real estate attorney, ask who they would recommend as a good title company. So as you find a member for your team, ask those people for more referrals to other members of your team. So that's a good way to approach it.
Good question. Good answers.
Solid. Thank you, Mario. All right. So now we're getting to the end. We're kind of wrapping up, and we're going to wrap up with a fun question that's not so real estate related, but might be a little bit real estate related because you got to get around and look at these houses. So this question is, what is your dream car? So who wants to go first?
Oh, man. For
I'll let
me,
Dan go
I
first.
fell in love with the 1998 Ferrari Testarossa Enzo edition that I did get to drive in the Italian Autobahn by chance.
By chance, aka you borrowed it for a little while.
Yeah, we met some friends over there, and I had no idea that they were very, very well off. And we drove from Rome all the way, the Mediterranean was on the left-hand side, to Pisa, and it was about an hour and a half. And she let me drive it, and man, that is it's a beast of a car.
Talk about an experience, huh?
Yeah, it was funny because it wasn't kilometers. So I was doing initially about 100 kilometers an hour, which I thought was a lot, but it didn't feel like a lot. Well, it didn't, because that's like 60 miles an hour.
Oh, really? You're like, oh my God, I'm racing
And
through
she
triple
looked at
digits.
me, yeah, no, and she looked at me and gave me the stare like, dude, I let you borrow my car.
And you're not taking
And
advantage.
yeah, you're not.
You were being respectful.
Using
You
her.
thought 100. Hey, that was up there.
Yeah. I thought they were miles per hour, and I'm like, this doesn't seem very fast. And then I said, you know what? So I remember, like daylight, I went ahead and downshifted to third gear. I floored it. The most awesome experience at about 60 miles an hour. The back tire started spinning, and the car started vibrating, and it was like, boom!
Yeah.
We took off. And whiplash. And I remember the next time I looked at the speedometer, it was at 180 kilometers, 200, 220, 240, and right around 260. I could just feel the car just do this. Boom, boom,
Oh, dang.
boom. And then I slowed her down.
That's awesome.
That's mine. So I want to own it.
I like that
haven't
it's a stick shift. It seems like most expensive, newer, I guess it was an older car, but most of the newer sporty cars don't really have stick shift anymore, which is really sad.
I should.
Well, Teslas don't.
Oh, you were about to say a Tesla.
I was or I wasn't. So this is the thing. I could do a Tesla, but I'm not sold on it yet because it has to. For me personally, it's going to be something. We're going to go test drive a bunch of cars. But I mean, I think Teslas are really cool. I like the technology aspect of it. But I'm also interested in like a Maserati. It just depends.
Just interested.
It just depends. But I know for a fact it's going to probably be a stark white. I just want a really white car with the stipulation that Marco's already agreed that I can get it detailed at least once a month.
So you don't want any
I don't want a
dirt on
white
that thing.
car if it's going to be dirty.
Oh.
So,
Wow.
but it has to have all the bells and whistles. But I drive standard right now, and I really want a standard car.
girl.
Yeah, I have a 6-speed, and I love it. But it's hard for me to like the thought of transitioning from that to automatic. It just
A part of
We
you
were
dies.
at the Tesla.
it really does
dealership.
die. And like I want a Tesla, but can you make me one that's standard, please? Because
Well,
like that's what I want.
No.
But that's what I want. I'd be really happy if it was a combo of both.
They'll put a dummy stick in there and
a
you can
dummy
pretend.
stick.
It just depends. When we get to that realistic point of buying new cars, I would probably just honestly test drive everything.
We were at the Tesla dealership in Austin last weekend, and I was impressed by the technology. I was blown away by the technology, but I just was not impressed by the looks and the feel of the car inside. I mean, that just kind of, it just felt, and I talked to the people and they're like, this is my vibe. They're like, yeah, that's the general feedback. You know, if you're gonna spend 70, 80, 90, $100,000 or more, plush interiors, you know.
Right.
So,
I mean,
that's why I
we
wasn't
honestly
totally
haven't really looked into one. I mean, we know we've researched them, but we haven't like physically sat in one or test
you
driven
can do a
one.
test drive.
Oh, I know. We're already signing up for it.
Ah.
We've been keeping our
Yeah.
eye on it, but
It's hard though because with our daughter,
we have to like have a baby. We can't
We
bring
can't-
her on a test drive. We're
Yeah,
gonna
'cause there
install
won't
her
be a-
car
I
seat.
need to install the car seat.
No.
See how
hold on, we want
whiplash
to
it
test
gets?
drive this,
2.9
but
miles
give
an
us
hour.
10 minutes while we plug this
Yeah,
in.
we want to
and
test drive it.
the
It's just all about like
seatbelt.
scheduling the time because we're so busy that it's like we can barely find time just to have our own date night most of the time. So it's hard to get the time to go test drive.
My
a
answer
Tesla.
would be a Model S. I would get a Tesla. The technology is sold, and I just like the thinking of the company and how there's like software updates and the ability to have it auto drive in the future.
And he doesn't drive standard, so it
do
doesn't
more
matter.
work and stuff. Yeah, I'm totally.
How
down.
dare you call yourself a man and not drive?
Well, I don't even want. I don't want it.
She's all that.
I want to take it to the next level where I'm not driving at all. I want automatic. Where it drives
So they
itself.
told us that the technology is already in it
Yeah.
as
it's
of
beta or whatever.
2016, I think they said. They just haven't unlocked it because of state regulations.
Yeah.
That I mean, I was blown away, and I did think about it because I think one of the biggest time wasters in our
Is
industry
driving,
is driving.
traffic, and traffic's getting
I
worse.
would totally be down to
So at that
work
point,
all
it's
the
like, oh,
time.
if I can catch up on my email in the
Yeah,
back
exactly.
seat while I'm being chauffeured
Totally.
by a ghost,
Yes. I'm down for that.
I could be okay with
Quick
it.
question. though.
Yes.
So this Ferrari, what color was it? The one that you drove?
Cherry apple red, 14
Of
were
course
made.
it was. When you
Okay.
think of Ferrari, for some reason, I always just think of like bright red.
All right. And then what color would you get?
Cherry apple red.
All right.
Yeah.
It
So
has
this
to be
was a
identical.
fundamental, like, almost paradigm shift experience for you.
Oh, it was mind blowing. It was
That's awesome.
amazing. It was cool.
And to do it in Europe with the
Yeah.
views and everything.
Well, the thing, it was on the Autobahn, so there was no speed limit.
Yeah.
The way
Perfect.
they work, I think there is a speed limit, but I think the speed limit is, they call it something like within.
It definitely isn't 100
safety-
kilometers.
No. Well, I don't know, something weird. Like as long as you stay within safety, considering the driver's ability and the car's, whatever the car it is you're driving. But I was surprised. I'm like, we're not going to get pulled over, and she says, no, it's a clear day. It's straight. There's no rain. We're good.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that is great.
Well, cool.
That's
we'll
an
have
awesome
to
story.
all drive our cars down the Autobahn
Love it.
one day.
You might kick my butt on that Tesla S, though.
I don't care if you go faster than me as long as I'm not driving. I'm down for that.
Give me a sport car with a stick shift, and I'll go fast.
There you go.
I
There you
love-
go.
I
She'll
love
race
driving.
You. She'll race you.
We'll do that.
Marco's like the slowest driver.
I'm a
I could see
safe
that.
driver.
He's a grandpa.
I follow the rules.
I'm
I
like,
could
babe,
see
are you
that.
gonna turn anytime in this
I have
century?
precious
he's like,
cargo, okay? No, it's more like...
I'm just a very aggressive driver.
He's thinking of his bandit signs.
Hey, you gotta look out, man. You gotta look out.
Oh, I love to give him such a hard time.
All right, so with that, we
With
will wrap
that.
up the show. One more time, how can people find you? Where can they look you up?
Facebook,
Check out the
Dancito,
hat.
Gancito,
Yeah?
TexasCashHomebuyer.com. Call me up, 210-998-1714. Send me an email, Dan.Diaz at TexasCashHomebuyer.com.
Yep.
Nearest Taco Cabana.
There you go. There you go.
They'll
So
know
definitely
me there.
check them out. We appreciate you watching. Make sure to like, comment, and share. And you got to comment so we can know who you are, so we can friend request you.
Also,
and we
send us
can respond.
questions for the next episode.
Yeah, exactly.
So we can
we
answer.
need more questions. So tell us about your situations, your deals, your hurdles, your issues. We want to answer them and give you true value. So thank you for watching.
Thanks
Bye,
a lot.
guys.
You guys have a great one.
Your career as a businessman or woman is contingent to you becoming an expert negotiator. Negotiation is tied to profit, it's tied to deals, it's tied to speed, it's tied to being able to massively and expansively grow. I hope you guys enjoy the videos. I hope you guys enjoy the training. I hope you derive value. And if anything, I hope you decide to make a decision now to spend time and energy and money and resources into becoming expert negotiators.